News 24 is meanwhile reporting that the South African Air Force has no fighting capacity left with only 6 operable military aircraft. Over 300 more are grounded due to budget constraints, leaving the country's airspace vulnerable. Military sociologist Professor Lindy Heinecken joins us for more. Very good evening to you, Professor Heinecken. Very concerning reports there by News 24. How concerned should South Africans be at this state?
I think South Africa should be really concerned because this lack of capacity of the Air Force reduces the ability to defend our airspace and borders. It also impairs our capacity to support military operations, peacekeeping operations, and of course the ability to respond to emergencies. So it impacts on both domestic and international obligations.
And in that News 24 report as well, they get a graph that shows, where we stand. This is from October 2023, and it showed that from those aircraft as well, 60 had been awaiting major rebuilds, 3 had been discontinued, 27 awaiting repairs, 6 undergoing repairs, and over 250,000 that had just been grounded due to a lack of spare parts. Now, how did we get to this kind of affair?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to it. Of course, one is budget, and that there is just not enough budget to be able to maintain the aircraft, and this has really impaired the capacity. So underfunding is definitely something. And then, of course, these maintenance backlogs is another thing. It's in terms of maintaining these these aircrafts. So these maintenance backlogs and the lack of technicians. Then also the decline of Denel has been another factor. Shortages in spares and really depleted stock levels and not having the ability to replenish this have all contributed to the slippery slope and decline that we currently see in the Air Force and the Navy as well.
And also with that lack of budget and resources as well, do you have an understanding, Professor, as to why there isn't a priority in our defense? Is it because it appears that there isn't much of a risk to South Africa? Why would that be, that it's not prioritized when it is a security threat for the entire country?
Well, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head, is that since the start of democracy in 1994, defense has not been prioritized. So it's like if you've got an X amount of budget and you're looking at where should I invest my money, into social grants or into the defense, where is the most pressing needs? And what has also happened is that the Defense Force has got an amazing resilience. So they've got this we can do attitude, rather than being honest and open and saying, look, we actually crippled and on our knees. They've always sort of risen to the occasion and been able to, like in the July riots, whether it is deploying old rifles on the streets that were operational last on the border, they've managed to do it somehow. So there's this constant reliance on the military and thinking, we know these guys can do it. And without being sort of open and honest and debating the actual state of the decline.
The department has also announced in the last couple of weeks that it will be going on an extensive drive to try and recruit young members into the Defence Force as well over the next couple of years. But also said by many experts to say that you can be as good as you want to be as a soldier, you can be as committed as you want to be, but if you don't have the tools to fight, you are as good as dead.
Yes, absolutely. And this is very demoralizing for those that are still currently within the Defence Force, which is leading to a massive skills drain. So, they can only do so much, and then they really do become, no matter how well they're trained, how well they're disciplined and committed they are, it definitely has an impact on morale. And when it comes to the actual personnel structure, we've got an aging Defence Force. We definitely need more youngsters coming into the military. There's not a shortage of volunteers and quality volunteers. With that said, the problem is that the current personnel structure in terms of its long-term, medium and short-term needs to be revised, because if that isn't revised, we're going to continue with a personnel structure and a force design that is not affordable and not suited to the type of roles and missions that our Defence Force is involved in.
And Prof, lastly, in terms of a solution, what is the ideal solution here? Is it to merely pump more money into the Defence Force, or is it multi-pronged?
It's definitely multi-pronged. It is not just the money, and even this increase in the defense budget is going to have a minimal effect. There needs to be a critical review of our current defense policy, what we want our defense force to do, how it should be structured, how it should be funded, how it should be trained for the security threats that the country is facing. And like an insurance policy, and I often use this as an example, if you can't insure everything, what is the most critical things that you need to insure? And that is what we need to look at. Clearly, we have not got a huge defense budget. We've got other priorities in our country as well. So there needs to be critical debate around these type of issues. And I think the time has now come, because our defense force is really on its knees. And which is a real tragedy if you look at the capabilities that we currently have, but we actually can't operationalize.
Sure. Professor Heinecken, thank you so much for your time this evening and sharing
Great
your insights
pleasure.
with us.